Hi, I'm Dr. Bertice Berry. Several years back, I suffered a pretty bad head injury, which resulted in a brain injury. And during that time, I went from reading 6 books a week to not being able to read. There was a siren in my left ear that just did not stop. I had migraines constantly, and I had a headache every day for about 9 months. I had vertigo. I couldn't drive. Every sound was at the same level. So the sound of the air conditioning, somebody walking, somebody writing on a piece of paper, somebody talking was at the same level of volume. And I couldn't distinguish what I was trying to listen to, hear, and in some cases see. To say that it was difficult is the understatement of the century. Well, there are probably other understatements that are bigger than that one. I came upon a documentary, a friend recommended it, called I Am, produced, directed, and written by Tom Shadyac. I Am, please watch it. And they asked the question, what's right with the world and what's wrong with it? And I watched that, and my friend who recommended it didn't know that Tom Shadyac had suffered the same injury and was also going through post-concussion disorder. So he didn't watch the beginning of it, but he loved the rest of it. But came out of this same experience, so it resonated with me, and I watched it over and over and over again. And then I started looking for the books on tape by the people who were interviewed in this, and then eventually I could get to reading. And I found the work of the HeartMath Institute, and it took me weeks to get through this book. And they kept talking about this technique, and I was like, just teach us the technique, just teach us the technique. But you had to learn about it before you learned how to do it, or it really wouldn't have much effect. So like everything, there's a foundational work, and then you do the work. But they talked about the journey from the head to the heart, that the heart also has a brain, and that we need to think more from our heart. And one of the things they suggested in this thinking from your heart was to be open to the wisdom that came to you. And one of those wisdoms, one of those urgings, one of those things was to make a dress. And that day I just made a dress and have been sewing ever since. But opening my heart meant that I had to leave behind a lot of what I thought I knew. I remember going to the specialists and them saying, your brain, the computer is designed after the brain, and when the computer crashes, it has to reboot, and you also have to reboot. And so I looked at the doctor and I started doing this, and he said, what are you doing? And I said, I'm deleting old files. And there were many old files that I had to delete, and many about myself that I had to let go of and delete. And in that rebooting of my mind, I found that it was a better place to think from my heart and to feel from my heart and to see through my heart. And I don't read 6 books a week now, but I make things for others, and I pray for others, and I do these videos, and I write, and I work, and I see from a much more wholehearted perspective, because it is from my heart. The Egyptians were on to something. We need to take the journey, let go of the ego of who we think we are and what we can do, and the insecurities of our own self. And in the heart, through the heart, we see that it is connected to so many other things, especially our breath, which is connected to all life. It's a difficult journey. I don't think you need to knock yourself upside your head to get there, but I think you should start to move to your heart and begin to see the world that way, begin to love that way. It doesn't mean that you don't make mistakes. It doesn't mean that you are not human. It doesn't mean that in that day you find frustration or anger. You do. But the heart speaks, says, come back. I love you.